This storyboard drawing represents our first glimpse of Daisy Duck, or as she was known in this cartoon, Doña Duck. Don Donald was the first of Donald's cartoons in which he did not share the stage with an established Disney star. On the contrary, in this cartoon he introduced a new character, his girlfriend. It was comic strip artist Al Taliaferro's idea to give Donald 3 nephews. In fact, the nephews were actually first seen in a Silly Symphony Sunday Comics page featuring Donald, published on October 17, 1937. The cartoon, released on April 15, 1938, was in production before the comic strip was printed. Disney gagman Dana Cody is credited with naming Donald's nephews with the now famous rhyming monikers of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. The voice of Donald, Clarence Ducky Nash, also provided the voices of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. The addition of nephews to Donald's world put him in a new role, that of a parent-like caregiver. By transferring some of Donald's mischief-making to Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the Disney team made Donald seem a little more mature and sympathetic. After all, in Donald's Better Self, the cartoon released just before this one, the duck was portrayed as a schoolboy. The Disney artists decided on 3 identical nephews for Donald to go Mickey Mouse one better. Mickey only had 2 identical nephews, Morty and Ferdy. Starting with Good Scouts and continuing in this cartoon, its unofficial sequel, the Duck story team of Carl Barks and Harry Reeves set out to develop Huey, Dewey, and Louie beyond the hyperactive troublemakers they created in Donald's nephews. The use of multiple images in a single storyboard drawing, as seen here, suggested action with a great sense of animation. This dynamic technique was a trademark of Duck story artist and later comic book master Carl Barks. The Disney story artists developed dialogue as well as visuals through their storyboard drawings. Around 1939, the Disney Studios issued a long list of practical duck expressions. These were lines of dialogue that were believed to be understandable, or as understandable as possible, when quacked by Donald. Included were such gems as "Scram, you doggone pest," "This is a fine how do you do," and "Absolutely exasperating." Mr. Duck Steps Out marks Daisy Duck's second appearance in a Donald cartoon, and the first in which the character's actual name is used. One reason Daisy appears in so few cartoons is that the Disney story artists used her only when she was necessary to the plot. They didn't find the female characters funny. Story artist Carl Barks said that, quote, "We wasted little time trying to incorporate such females in the rough-and-tumble world of cartoon heroics." Though she was later given a normal female voice, Daisy was at first voiced by Clarence Ducky Nash. His Donald voice was slightly sped up by the sound technicians to give it a higher, more feminine pitch. Notice that Donald is wearing his traditional sailor suit in these story sketches. In the cartoon itself, Donald's animators dressed him in a flashy suit to emphasize the importance of his big date, and to accentuate the duck's self-image as a slick operator. The animators brought in actual jitterbugs and filmed their dancing as visual reference for Donald and Daisy's jitterbug routine. The female jitterbug model is none other than Virginia Davis, who had played Alice in Walt's Alice in Cartoonland shorts back in the 1920s. This was the first cartoon developed by the story team of Carl Barks and Jack Hanna. Barks dreamed up the running gag about the folding chair, and Hanna drew the storyboard sketches. Jack Hanna had animated on many of the Duck films before turning to story work. He later became the director of most of Donald's cartoons. Many Donald Duck cartoons pitted Donald against animals or seemingly inanimate objects. Donald's Vacation has both. There are the forest animals Donald encounters while camping, and a stubborn folding chair, seen in these storyboards. Donald's story artists made good use of the storyboards for developing situations that would make the duck lose that famous temper. Starting with Modern Inventions in 1937, Donald starred in several cartoons that featured no other established or speaking character. These cartoons focus on Donald's battles with the world at large. Donald's Vacation is one of the best of these solo starrers. The storyboard process was invaluable in working out elaborate routines, such as Donald's battle with the folding chair.